Good evening, I'm Jill Valley. Dennis Bragg is on assignment. He will be joining us shortly. One person is dead and a Montana Highway Patrol trooper is fighting for his life in a Salt Lake City hospital tonight after a series of shootings that happened in Missoula County overnight. The suspect in the shooting was taken into custody nearly 7 hours after two separate shooting incidents. Here is how this all started. Missoula police received the initial call shortly before 11 o'clock last night with reports of gunfire and word that two men and a woman had been shot near the Stone Creek Lodge on Expressway Boulevard. One of the three people shot last night was killed in the shooting. The sheriff has identified the man as Shelley Hayes. The suspect, identified as 28-year-old Jonathan Birch, fled the scene. Trooper Wade Palmer then located the suspected vehicle near the Evero Bar and Casino this morning on Highway 93 North just after midnight. Trooper Palmer was then shot by the suspect while the officer was sitting in his patrol car. Dennis Bragg has been covering this developing situation since the early morning hours. He joined us now live near the Y with the very latest tonight. Dennis.
That's right, Joe. We had two sites of gun violence here, and that's what made it confusing last night. It's what's making it tough for investigators to try to piece all this together today. Here's what we know this afternoon. Missoula police detectives working on the first crime scene where those three people were shot near Expressway. Missoula Police Sergeant Travis Welsh says they're still looking for the connection between those victims and the suspect, Jonathan Birch. They're also trying to figure out the motive behind the violence, what caused all this to happen. They do believe this incident is connected with the later shooting on Evero Hill. The Highway Patrol says Trooper Wade Palmer saw the suspect's car near the Evero Bar and Casino early this morning, but when another trooper arrived on the scene to help him, he found Palmer still seatbelted in his patrol car, shot and critically wounded. The suspect had vanished. Felony officer pulled Trooper Wade out of the car, rushed him back here to the Y, where he was taken to St. Patrick Hospital in critical condition. Early this afternoon, he was airlifted to a Salt Lake City hospital for treatment. Then, just after 6 o'clock this morning, Missoula County Sheriff's Department officers arrested Jonathan Birch off Highway 93 North without further incident. No one else was hurt. When we returned to the scene this afternoon, the Department of Criminal Investigation was on the scene where Trooper Palmer was shot. It's a case that's requiring a lot of interviews and witness statements, and even as law enforcement officers work the case with professionalism, their hearts are heavy.
You know, this is one of those things where we all know it could happen. You know, we all leave our homes at the beginning of our shift. It's always in the back of our minds that it could happen. There's always that question of whether we're going to come home that night or that next morning. But when it actually happens and you see it and you know that person, or maybe you've worked with that person, it really hits hard. And you know, we consider that law enforcement is one big family, and in this particular case, Trooper Palmer is one of our brothers. And you know, we're praying for him, and our hearts are breaking for him and his family and the whole department.
Trooper Wade Palmer has been with the Montana Highway Patrol since 2012. He's stationed in Detachment 112, that's here in Missoula. Trooper Palmer has a wife and two young children. You may remember that 4 years ago he was awarded the patrol's highest honor, the Medal of Valor, for his heroic life-saving efforts at the scene of a multiple vehicle crash involving a mother and her young children. That was in the middle of the winter, December 2014, here in Missoula County. In 2015, he was awarded the patrol's highest honor, the Medal of Valor, for his heroic life-saving efforts, again at the scene of that crash, helping those young children. Now, Trooper Palmer's colleague, Trooper T.J. Templeton, who we know very well, tweeted this afternoon, "I'm still lost in the fog of this. Pain, anger, frustration, exhaustion, helplessness. Please pray for Wade and his family." I can't even think to tweet, "Please pray for my brother." Reporting live near the Y, Dennis Bragg, MTN News. Back to you, Jill.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Now, about an hour ago, we received the charging documents laying out this case against the suspect, Jonathan Birch, which includes that charge of murder. Connor McCauley has this part of our coverage.
One of the three people shot on Expressway died in the shooting. while 2 others are in the hospital with gunshot wounds tonight. And now we have charging documents that paint a clear picture of what happened. Late this afternoon, Missoula County prosecutors charged 28-year-old Jonathan Birch with 1 count of murder for the death of Shelly Hayes and 3 counts of attempted murder for Casey Blanchard, Julie Blanchard, and Trooper Wade Palmer. Julie Blanchard called 911 and reported all 3 were shot. She told police she'd gone to pick up Casey and Shelly at a local bar to drive them home. Court documents say a white Escalade followed them, eventually flashing its lights. They pulled over to see if the driver needed help, and that's when the suspect opened fire on the trio. Police say they do have surveillance video from a local business that seems to show the shooter attacking the 3. When police arrived on scene, they found Shelly Hayes was already dead. The 2 other victims were both conscious. Nearly an hour after the original shooting, Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Wade Palmer reported to dispatch that he was under fire. When law enforcement arrived on the scene, they found Palmer unconscious with a gunshot wound and transported him to St. Pat's. Birch then made a call to his father, saying, "I had a road rage incident. I think I might have shot a cop." Law enforcement used the father's phone to call Birch, who admitted his involvement in both shootings but refused to provide a location. Later that night, someone reported a white Escalade on Grooms Road and Birch was brought into custody. He will make his first court appearance Monday. In Missoula, Connor McCauley, MTN News.
Governor Steve Bullock today released the following statement after Wade Palmer was critically injured in the line of duty. He says, quote, "Lisa and I are heartbroken to hear that one of Montana's finest is in critical condition. Trooper Wade Palmer showed extreme courage in the face of danger early this morning, and I know that his actions made our state safer." Commended with the Montana Highway Patrol's highest honor, the Medal of Valor, Trooper Palmer has always been committed to doing his best for this state. His family and colleagues are in the hearts and prayers of all Montanans. Now, there are GoFundMe accounts set up for these victims. One set up for Trooper Wade Palmer. There's one for Shelly Hayes and another for Casey Blanchard. We have all of that information on our website at KPAX.com. Again, we will be continuing to cover the story as new information becomes available.